Quorum.
Councilman Mack.
Here.
Councilwoman Randolph. Here. Councilman Daniel. Vice Mayor Washington. Mayor Garza.
Here.
We have our quorum.
I'm gonna ask that you keep your voices low. During tonight's meetings, there's a lot of us, which is great. But please stand for a moment of silence followed by pledge of allegiance. The pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item is the approval of the agenda. I'm going to ask council, would you take a moment to look at the order of the agenda? If you have any changes, please say so now.
Let the consent agenda number 3 to move to council's decision.
Are there any other items? All right, so the request is to move consent agenda item number 3 to council decisions. With that being the only exception, we will approve. Is there a motion to approve with that change?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. All right, the agenda has been approved with that change. We're now ready for a proclamation in honor of Florida Water Professionals Month. So proclamation, Office of the Mayor, Town of Eatonville, Florida. How appropriate that we read this today. Whereas the Florida Water and Pollution Control Operators Association, organized in 1940, is a nonprofit trade organization that promotes the sustainability of Florida's water utility industry through workforce development, to protect the health of Florida citizens, and to preserve the state's water resources. And whereas this organization offers water and wastewater treatment plant operator and water distribution operator training courses required for the state of Florida's operator licenses, 8 voluntary certification programs, and continuing education programs for operator license renewal. And whereas this organization, in recognizing the importance of the Florida statutes and administrative code that regulate the water industry, acts as liaison between the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and industry personnel. And whereas the Florida Water Pollution Control Operators Association, along with the town of Eatonville, Florida, recognizes all who have played a significant part in operating and maintaining drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater systems in Florida by celebrating Florida Water Professionals Month, which applauds their constant efforts to protect our health and environment. Whereas water professionals are essential first responders, as defined by Florida Statute 403.865B, during storms and other catastrophic events, working to ensure safe drinking water and safe disposal of wastewater for our communities. Now, therefore, I, Angie Gardner, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Eatonville, Florida, hereby proclaim August 2025 as Florida Water Professionals Month in the town of Eatonville, and extend greetings and best wishes to all who are observing Florida Water Professionals Month, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and seal this first day of July, 2025. Angie Gardner, Mayor. Veronica L. King, Town Clerk. Please, for those that keep our water safe. Next item is the presentation, Understanding Soil and Water Conservation Districts.
Dr. Jim Murray.
Bart?
My first time with this look.
You don't have to touch it. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good
evening. My name's Dr. Jim Moyer. I'm retired from the Salvation Army Adult Rehab Center Center's 23 years. I'm a U.S. Marine, and last November, I had the honor of being elected on Soil and Water Conservation District 2 Supervisor. District 2 is not exactly the same as the county commission districts, but it's close. So it includes Eatonville, Apopka, Coe, Selwood, Lockhart, Rosemont. And I voted here last November and then just recently again. I really enjoyed it. It was in this room, wasn't it? Here are my colleagues that are currently on the board, so I just wanted to share that with you. This is my presentation to my district, so I just put out a disclaimer saying it's mine, it wasn't approved by the rest of the board, it didn't go before them. Next week. So it's understanding soil and water, and just for clarification purposes, for brevity, I'm not going to talk about Lake King tonight, but I'm hoping to have an opportunity in the future to come back and talk about Lake King. Next, please. So let's dig into it. Okay. We all know the 1860s, I think. So the year before the Emancipation Proclamation, 2.5 years before Juneteenth, approximately 3 years before the 13th Amendment, and roughly 25 years before the historic town of Eatonville was created, President Lincoln passed 3 laws relevant to land that have to do with soil and water in the end. The first law was creating the U.S. Department of Agriculture and U.S. Department of Agriculture. And what evolved was 6 years later. Now, try to wrap your head around this for a second. The state of Florida created an Office of Immigration. Now, currently, we're the 3rd most populated state in the whole country, but they created an office to invite people to take care of the land, to farm. And that ultimately became the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, after changing the names lots of times over the years. So there's a Florida Soil and Conservation Law, which is administered by the Florida Department of Agriculture, and that law created all the soil and water conservation districts, including the one in Orange. The second thing happened was land grant universities. Now, if you think about the time frame, we're talking about during the Civil War. So frankly, money was a mess. Okay, so Lincoln really didn't want to give money, so he gave land, because he wanted there to be agricultural schools teaching, and mechanical, they're calling it, but it's engineering basically. So he granted land to all the states and asked them to set up teaching schools. And then later the laws were changed to add research, and later extension, which is community outreach basically. So here in Florida, the 2 schools are what became the University of Florida today, and also FAMU. And here in Orange County, there you go. We have some FAMU people here.
Thank you, Land Grant.
So, yeah, sorry about that. So here in Orange County, in Apopka, there's a research land grant, UFIFAS research, and in the east part of Orlando and Conway, there's an extension. You folks probably already know all that, right? But I'm going through it, sorry. And then something that's really important is the Homestead Act. The Homestead Act, believe it or not, lasted for 114 years. It ended during some of our lifetime. The original Homestead Act did not end until 1976. Well, at least us guys during our lifetime. You ladies, you're all real young, I know that. So in the end, after the 114 years, 20% of the Great Plains area was homestead. 15% of the whole lower 48 states was homesteading, and that includes 10% of Florida was homesteading. Next slide, please. Madam Mayor, I'll try to be as fast as I can, but I love history and I'm in the historic town of Eatonville.
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. World War I, I'll go real quickly. There was a lot of wheat in the Great Plains, wheat production. But after World War I, it went all downhill. They had to try to produce wheat from land that was not really capable of producing it. So ultimately, in the 1930s, but in the 20s, there was rain. In the 30s, the rain stopped, period. And there was dust bowl. There was end up being dust everywhere. 1935, April 14th, the dust was so bad, it went from the Great Plains 300 miles into the Atlantic Ocean. So when the politicians looked out their window in Washington, D.C., they said, we have to do something about that. So, next please. So this is a little picture of the Great Plains in the 1920s before the Dust Bowl, and then 1930s. Next please. So they passed a law that basically created the conservation districts. There's currently 3,000 throughout the country. And they created that. The president, FDR at the time, said all the states pass it, go out, and they wanted local solutions to problems. So we're all local, and we're elected volunteers. We don't get paid a penny. Next, please. Now, I skipped one real fast. In 1965, we were originally soil conservation, but then in 65, the feds passed a Clean Water Act, or Quality Act. And so we changed our name to Soil and Water. In 1970, the EPA was established. In 72, Florida created the water management districts that you probably know of. We partner with the districts. In 1999, an important thing is they passed to work on the impaired waters, because pollution had been going into the waters for centuries, basically. I mean, the EPA tried to help everything a little bit, but so Florida told the Florida DEP, the Florida Department of Agriculture, work together. Let's clean this up. And this is part of what we're trying to do today. Next picture. Here's a map showing Orange County of all the impaired waters. And you see it's roughly half of this county is considered impaired. And that's only by the definition of the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, which basically it says the pollution is at a level that something has to be done about it. They're not saying any pollution at all. Next please. The Tampa Bay Times did an investigation and saying, even though for 25 years we've been trying to work and clean up the water, some of the water pollution has gotten worse. And by the way, I say water, I'm from Philadelphia. So if you had a hard time understanding water, I apologize. So they independently proved that there's still a real lot of work to be done. Next, please. So we're the independent Orange Soil and Water Conservation District, supposed to work with the Florida Department of Agriculture, specifically the Office of Agriculture Water Policy, and implement what's called best management practices. So we want the farmers and other people to minimize the possibility of pollution and keep our water clean. So I think I'm pretty close to done. Yeah. Thank you for your time. I have a lot more that the city can look at their time, but I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm honored and God bless you all.
And thank you for taking the time out to come to us to present and inform us this morning. The next section is citizen participation. Before we call the first participant, please be reminded that these are public comments. We will definitely receive every comment, but we will not engage in a dialogue. But you will be, if it's something that needs to be followed up on, that will be done by administration. Each speaker gets the 3 minutes. If you are yielding your time, please get that together now, I ask, before you go to the lectern, so that you can state it when you get there. So if you need a moment, so if you're yielding your time to someone, if not, then we are ready for the first speaker.
I'm gonna call up Candace Finley, Tiffany Simmons, Ruthie Creek.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Town council, residents, everyone, thank you. We're here to recap in 1887 Juneteenth. So we have some information for you before we present our brief.
Good evening. So as Dr. Finley said, we are the 1887 Juneteenth Committee. We represent esteemed learning and connection and collaboration, an amazing collaboration with the town of Eatonville to establish that committee that brings you the festival that we do hope you enjoyed on last weekend. As a part of our working relationship with the town, we wanted to let everyone know how everything went and how excited we were to host this year's Juneteenth celebration. If I can just introduce everybody, we have Dr. Candace Finley right here tonight. We have Ms. Shana Mount here tonight. We have Ms. Tiffany Simmons, and I am Ruthie Critton. I have something very short to read, and then we have a little video for you guys to watch and a presentation. Okay, well, quick. You don't even have to get up. Do you guys have a video? Okay, well, we don't have the presentation. We have a video. Okay. There is something special and sacred about growing up in Eatonville, a place where legacy isn't just taught, it's lived. As girls, as women, we witnessed what it meant to build something meaningful for the community, where we shaped the spirit of celebration, service, and pride. And now we stand here as women, leading, organizing, and hosting a festival of our own. It is for sure a full circle blessing that we do not take for granted. We are humbled to have walked the path from festival children to caretakers of this tradition. Every moment of this Juneteenth celebration was crafted from that place. A deep love for our people, our history, and this town that we call home. This video is our thank you, and to those who came before us, to those who showed up, and to those who continue to believe in the beauty and the power of Eatonville. With all of our hearts and with all of our pride, the 1887 Juneteenth Committee.
Ready?
Thank you.
Okay, so it's a semi-presentation, it's not a full-on presentation. But in order to honor the commitment to put something tangible in the hands of the Eatonville residents, we present to you today a check for $1,000 to the town of Eatonville to be used and maximized as water bill relief. What a perfect time. So again, from team learning, we thank the town of Eatonville for the partnership. We also want to thank administration, Mayor Gardner. They were relentless in this process. They were very hands-on. This year, we've gotten better. Every year, we've gotten better and better, and so has the collaboration. So thank you to town council and the town of Eatonville.
No, it's the part of your time that y'all. We on 8 minutes.
Can I see Ruthie? I need to see Ruthie.
Okay, what about Councilwoman
That's
Randolph?
better. Vice Mayor, if you just. And Ruthie. That's perfect. All right. A little to your right, Theo, with your head, just a little. Perfect, okay. Thank you, everybody, on 3. 1, 2, 3, perfect.
Thank you.
Great.
Would be Captain Hill.
I'm trying to say.
Come back to order, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Captain Mills. I live at 318 Greens in the Street. I've been a citizen of Eatonville for going on 45 years. Tonight, I come before the council. I know there's gonna be others that come before you And the mayor had just said that we can speak and they don't really have to respond to us speaking. I think that's unfair to a citizen when she or he is speaking. I think that answers should be given. But anyhow, my problem is, which is really not a problem because I've been before this board before. My son, it's been a year now. I know we have this new program, something together with Eatonville, whatever, but there is still a problem. He is now a homeowner. We've been through this over and over again. Everything that he had to do, his name had to be, he had to be a homeowner before we can get water. He's still on septic. He's still on that. He was promised that by the time he got his name on the property, which is now, it's been for months. Nobody has been over there. You know, all of y'all come over when it's time to vote. Every council person on this board comes and visit you. And after that visit, you may see them 1 or 2 times. It's time to stand up. We have citizens here in Eatonville. I volunteer with this program called One Heart. I ask for nothing. I ask for no help. I take a lot of our seniors' food. I try to meet at the church. I am a giving person. The council needs to be giving. Our water, sky high. There are seniors as myself on a fixed income. All of a sudden, the water went from 50 to 90. The people in the office can't do anything about it. Don't complain to them. Anybody have any problems should meet our host, which is our council people. There's a lot that's gonna be said up here, and you're gonna be told to sit down after your 3 minutes are up. We need answers. The citizens need answers. Here I go. Here's my time. 3 minutes up.
Thank you, Ms. Mills.
The next one is, pardon me if I mispronounce your name, I think it's Brody Mack or Bradley Mack.
Ms. Bradley.
It's Bradley?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, folks, council members, mayor, vice mayor. My name is Bradley McWhitty. I own a plumbing company on the west side at 997 West Kennedy Boulevard. I'm currently partaking in the mayor's business development program for the infrastructure projects that are going to be taking place here in the town of Eatonville, which there are a lot of really interesting, really positive things going on in this town. It's really cool to watch it and hopefully be a part of it. I know that a lot of those funds are going to be allocated towards minority and women-owned business enterprises, but I think there's some more things that may be able to be done to guarantee a little bit more of those resources to be allocated to some of the small business owners within the town of Eatonville. There are some municipalities all over the country that have ordinances in place that guarantee that when projects are brought to those towns or those small municipalities, that those funds or a percentage of those funds have to be allocated or have to be directed to those small businesses. And I think that even though the folks in the town, politicians and community organizers are doing as much as they can, Ms. Valerie especially, to bring finances and bring money into the town, one of the big things that you guys preach a lot on is you guys want things to happen for Eatonville, not to Eatonville. And I think there's a little bit more that the politician or town council can do to protect and keep as much of those funds within the town of Eatonville as possible. And I think that if we could create a dialogue to maybe set up some of those ordinances that could do that, it would prevent a lot of outside contractors from coming in, because even though some of those funds are allocated towards minorities and women-owned businesses, that doesn't really exclusively mean that those folks have to come from within Eatonville, because there's a lot of folks with those certifications that meet that criteria that are from outside of Eatonville that may have a lot more resources than some of the folks here. I know that you guys are doing a lot to try to build up those business owners and get them prepared for this bidding process. But I think that by setting some ordinances in place now, it puts them at a more advantageous position to move forward in the future. Not only will it help the small businesses here, but it'll give some inspiration to the youth by keeping more money within the town of Eatonville. Those folks can hire more folks from the town of Eatonville, which then builds up the economy. The more money will get spent within the town. I'm open to have dialogue with you folks one-on-one at any point, at any time. You guys call me. And most people in here on my phone number. So thank you for your time.
Angela Thomas.
Good afternoon, Council. Angela Thomas, Flower Street. I have a concern, and I know we use words and we play on the language, so. I've been a resident of Eatonville since April the 6th, 2007. That's when I first got my water bill. So now I want I don't know what you call this, additional meter I have to get for the sprinkler system. So the application says a new application. I'm not new. I've been here since 2007. So I'm trying to figure out what's new about it. Then plus I have to give you $170 deposit, which I gave you that 2006. So I guess it's for this new thing. So in the application, you want my part of my social, you want to know where I work at, you want to know this, you want to know that. Ain't nothing changed since 2007. So why didn't you just ask me, has anything changed? So the total cost to get this meter is $496. So I said, well, what's going to change about it? Because you're not giving me a new system. You basically just tapping into the water system that's already there. You just giving me a meter. You're not giving me reclaimed water. You still giving me the same water we have. So from my understanding, I'll get an additional bill for that sprinkler system. Okay, well and good. You're not going to charge me whatever y'all say, sewer and all of that. But you're going to double tax me because you still got to give me taxes on that bill too. So what is the purpose of it? So that's my concern for that. And then the other one is there was supposed to be a non-ad valorem study that was going. When was it started? When will it be implemented? And can you give us an update on what exactly is going on with that? And that will change the price of the water bills.
We have Joyce Harvey.
Good evening, neighbors, council, everyone, citizens. Oh, I'm gonna behave. Why haven't I been feeling so nice? That's okay with you.
Yes.
I am an advocate always, at least in my heart and my mind, for the people, for things that I feel people want. So I've been going back and forth with the mayor for a while about a National Trust grant and study for historic buildings here. So she invited me to have a conversation. We had a great conversation. I know she felt there was something wrong with the grant, and I was like, you know, we can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And she kept her word and reviewed the paperwork. And I believe, like, are we done? We're done. So it went through. Thank you. I would much rather be an advocate than an adversary, though sometimes I'm gonna cut up, no matter what, but not now. Thank you. Keeping your word, let me do that. Thank you, council members. And I'm gonna end it right there.
We have Michael Mills.
Good evening, council. Here today. Go ahead, now y'all got no else. Also still say what's on my mind. I've been a citizen in Eatonville since 2000. Since 2000. Bought a house out here in 2010. Before that, I lived on Greens End. I lived on Stone. I lived on West. Now I'm on Parade. That's where I stand today. I've been there for 15 years. Bought my house in 2010. Ever since I've been in Eatonville, up until this time and era, I have not had a water bill such as I have today. I don't know what's going on. I said I'm gonna be a double charge. I know I water my lawn sometimes, but why do I have to pay for sewage when I'm putting water on my grass? And that's what I feel like I'm paying, because my sewage bill this month, just by itself alone, was $80, more than my bill was 5 months ago, my whole bill. And I'm not understanding, and we sit around, but I'm gonna say tonight to all of the council, everybody's included, that if we can't get y'all to change what's going on in Eatonville, then we need to change y'all. That's what we need to do, each and every one of y'all. That's sitting back there on that board. If y'all not trying to help us, why do we need you? We don't need you in no kind of way. We can fix ourselves. Or pick some people that can help fix us. And I know each one of y'all don't want to lose your seats. And I ain't trying to take them from you. But I do need y'all to help the citizens. And there are people out here that's old, don't have no money, living on fixed income. You know what I'm saying? And they can't, some of them can't even make it to the store. That's why they put the Family Dollar. They have to make it up there. And now we're sitting here taking money out of these people who might be getting $900 a month. We're taking $180, $200 of that just so they don't have to be without work. So they can bathe, clean themselves properly, and make sure their home is clean. And I know each one of y'all got a home, and y'all, I know y'all concerned with it. And so are they. The people that die here, these citizens of Eatonville, are concerned. I myself am very concerned, even though God has blessed me to be able to pay mine. But everyone else might not be as fortunate. So we need to look around at ourselves and remember who we are before we got to this place. With that, I'm gone.
Thank you. You have Eddie Cole.
Can we adjust the AC?
I said what I gotta say.
Thank you. Hi, Eddie Cole, 545 Union Street. Couple things. I've been looking at, the ordinance regarding the water rate. And there's two ordinances, the last one was 2024 or 2022, I believe, something like that. However, what it was, that was one that was under my administration. And, I was wondering, how did we put an ordinance on the ordinance? And then I got a copy of it and it was amended. So I understand it was amended. But when we repealed both of them, which one are we under? So I was saying, how did we get this one if I did the one in my administration? And then I found out it was amended. I understood. But being that these two weren't amended at all, and both of them was repealed, what ordinance are we under? Unless there's an ordinance before the 1990 ordinance. Yeah, but if it's not one before that, what ordinance are we under right now? And so for my administration, I went into administration where there was a challenge. I call it a challenge versus a problem. And I had to pay $209,000 back to the residents. So a lot of residents was wondering why they had this credit on their bill. Because although it wasn't in my office, I'm still a part of the town. And we had to pay it back. So I'm hoping that we're looking at if there is money that has to go back to residents. Can't do it all at one time because it was very costly. I had to do it within every bill. I was given a $7 to $10 credit until we could relinquish those challenges. But we're gonna really have to look at it. I'm not a believer of, and I may misunderstand. I'm not understanding it. I'm not believing a resolution can do anything past the ordinance. Ordinance is law. Resolution is things we hope for. And so with that resolution, I'm only hoping that resolution is something to say we can do that with this ordinance. So if I can get a copy of the ordinance that we're actually under, it's probably gonna make it easy for everybody because I'm understanding my average water bill was $49 a month. It's $79.80 now. I'm not even home pretty much. So With that in mind, if we can do that. Last thing, on the irrigation, I was hearing, Ms. Thomas talk about irrigation. If it's not, if that's not recycled water,
$15.98.
what the concern about that is we're using regular water for that versus irrigation water. I don't know if we have something in place for it. But that's challenging there as well, because we're watering with regular water, we're watering grass. That we really need water to consume drinking water. All right, thank you.
We have, this is our last one, actually, Anthony Grant.
Anthony Grant, 50. Doctor, I didn't get your last name, but I appreciate the presentation of all the years I've been affiliated with government. I've never had anybody come over to explain or take the time out to come and explain soil and water, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Drain Daddy, I forgot your name, but I appreciate your comments as well. And Ms. Critton, as always, good job, good job. Ms. Washington, Captain Washington, this event this weekend was absolutely terrific. Mayor, I stand before you again just to reiterate my position or my concerns as regarding the resolution that you adopted in December 3rd, 2024. I did have a conversation, a lengthy conversation with Mr. President. I appreciate him calling me back this evening about that. What I'm not understanding, if you adopted a resolution that established rates at a flat rate, because that's what it did, but you're billing the residents based on per thousand. The document said it's a flat rate for whatever you use it. That's what it is. Not what's interpreted, not what we talked about, but what you signed. The policy you signed said a flat rate. Then how are you billing the residents per thousand? My understanding, from just consulting with Mr. Presley, that your legal is saying that was the interpretation. That is the law, not somebody's interpretation. And I challenge Mr. President, if I look 15 years out and look at what you did, I can't figure out what your interpretation is. The law is the law. Go back and do it the right way, but charge residents, continue to charge residents, I think it's totally illegal, just my opinion. And I think that we need to do the right thing. And if we made a mistake, we made a mistake. Just correct it. Yeah. But my last comment, it really kind of disturbs me. We're a small bedroom community. We only got 2,500 residents. I've seen the times that customer service was so on point that if you call the police chief with a complaint, he either called you back or he came to your house. If you called town hall and you had a complaint of the CAO, they would get in their car and they'd come to your house and knock on you. We don't get that. To sit here and hear comments like, you can address us, but we're not gonna respond. Then what's the point of coming to address you? We come to you for answers. You're our leaders, elected. If you don't have answers, then where can we go? Who do we go to? But to sit there and we got a concern, we got a comment, we got a question, but you don't have an answer. So who do we talk to? That's a problem. That policy needs to be rethought. Because if you can't talk to us, then who do we talk to? I agree we need to find somebody else to talk to. Because we come here for answers. And at least start to have communicate with us. If you don't have the answer, to try to interpret the answer for us, at least tell us we'll look into it. But to sit there, that's just totally unacceptable. Thank you.
Mayor Gardner, we did receive another public participation form, Angela Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, fellow residents. Seems like the water bill discussion is a hot topic tonight. I too would like to reiterate that on December the 3rd, the council voted and adopted a rate schedule to bill residents a water rate without an indication that it was per 1,000 gallons. I too have gotten a response that the intent. However, what you as the council adopted was a rate table that did not include a reference to give you the authority to bill at per 1,000 gallons. So I would ask tonight that your motion on the floor Because if it gave you the authority to bill per 1,000 gallons, then why do you have an item on your agenda tonight to make a correction? So if we are making a correction tonight, that would lead me to believe that what I've been charged since these rates were implemented was inaccurate. And therefore, I am standing before you tonight to make a formal request for a refund of the amount that was charged based upon the table that was adopted by the council on December 3rd. This version, as I said, did not contain any language or notation pre-authorized or authorizing the billing of the water based upon a per 1,000 rate. Therefore, I respectfully request that you put a motion on the floor tonight, one of you council members, to refund the overcharge to all residents up through tonight when you adopt a new schedule that indicates that you could charge per 1,000 gallons. I will echo what former Mayor Cole said, I do not want to put the town into a negative financial position. I don't expect for you to be able to refund all of these amounts on one bill. However, you can give credits over 6 months. I would ask you and invite you to consider rectifying the situation before it gets out of hand. Obviously, a number of residents do not agree with the fact that you are billing us based upon a rate table that did not clearly state. So instead of there being the potential that there's a class action suit brought before the town by the residents of this town, let's please make a correction tonight. I would also ask that there is some information that is provided to residents about water bill relief and what the process is. And then I'm making a formal request. I will send it via an email. I would like to know a detailed listing of all residents that have received a water bill relief, because it appears to me that those decisions can be made by staff. And so what is the policy to ensure that those credits are not given to the same individuals over and over again? So please make a motion tonight to refund those overcharges to our residents. Thank you.
And we have them.
I know this is different, but to clarify what I stated initially, did you go back on? I said when I have a dialogue like we have in the past, and that it was something that needed to be followed up on, it would be. So go back to the record, because that is what I stated. I never not speak to people. This wasn't the platform or forum. So I just want to make sure that my words are not misconstrued.
Let me say echo that too. All my years sitting up here being a council person, it's public hearing. We can't answer everybody's question. She answered it, I answered it. We started having dialogue with people would not get through this meeting. That's why it's always public hearing. So we never had sit there and have dialogue with a person that had an issue to after if it's down in discussion. But number 3, we'll have dialogue. You'll know what we're talking about, what we're thinking about. Not arguing with you or disrespecting one another like we always do anyway. So back in the past, we never done that.
Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is the consent approval of items number 1 and 2, because 3 was moved to council decision. Is there a motion? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, the consent agenda has been approved. And now we're at the approval of the amended resolution 2025-10, utility rate clarification.
Resolution number 2025-10, a resolution of the town of Eatonville, Florida, amending resolution 2024-40 to provide clarification on utility services rate and usage charge based on per 1,000 gallons used, providing for conflicts, severability, and an effective date.
You have heard the preamble. Is there a motion?
Sure. Second question.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilman Mack.
Yes, I had an opportunity to see and listen to all the residents that came up, and particularly with this particular water rate that we've been dealing with for some time now. And I know it was something that I had a very serious issue with in the last meeting. for, a lot of different reasons. I won't really go across the details of it. If you heard the last meeting, you're gonna know exactly how I felt about it, but I would definitely like to move forward with, put a motion on the floor before we move forward with anything to, reimburse everybody, that's a resident in the town of Eatonville that was on charge back their money, whether we do it credit or however we can do it to make it make sense. But I definitely want to be able to refund, each and every citizen that was, overcharged that their, funds that they was charged.
And just go ahead.
For the protocol of the meeting right now, we have an open motion on the floor. If you want to add another motion after this vote has been
Yeah,
either
we
voted
speak
up
mine.
or
Yeah,
down.
people what I want to do. But I know we got this motion on the floor, but
Unless you rescind.
before moving forward, but even doing this, I want to make sure that we got a concrete, idea that we're gonna do the right thing for the citizens. Because I don't want to move forward with this before doing what I want to do in terms of the, refund of the, residents. Now, I don't know exactly how we can do that, but I want to make sure that we're doing everything legally also. And, everything is correct. Now, I know we got 3 different documents that we spoke on. I know I had an opportunity to speak with you, throughout the week, and I'm still trying to get some clarity on just clearing everything up in terms of exactly how everything transformed and went the way it went. I know you gave me some details on how you looked at it and what you presented me with, but I'm still kind of puzzled trying to wrap my head around the whole ordeal of what happened. I know someone dropped the ball. You're actually over the administration outside of the mayor when she's not here. And I definitely hold each one of you accountable, including myself, for something like this, because I'm not over the actual administration, but I'm a part of this government, body that we sit up in. And, I heard the citizens saying they're right. You know what I'm saying? I want people to hold me accountable. You know what I'm saying? I want to be held accountable, especially when things are not doing, the way it's supposed to be done, so I definitely want to make sure that we're dotting our i's and crossing our t's on every event, because this could have really been, more, detrimental than what it is now. You know what I'm saying? Even though you may look at it in a different phase than I do, I look at it as a detrimental situation, because we're dealing with it right now. And it's back before me, it's something that was approved by us, and things was missed along the way. And whatever that is, like I told you before, and I got to keep stressing it. And this go for any administration that have any issues. I think the best result is to pick the phone up, shoot an email, and have that conversation, because I think it's much needed. Communication is key to everything you do in life. Whether you're in a relationship, you're dealing with your kids, you're coming here, whatever it is, your job. And if you're not, having that sense of urgency to, communicate with people, it's gonna be problematic moving forward with everything that we do. And I don't want this to continue being a, pattern that we are going down the way of doing, because I've heard so many different, voices. And speaking of voices, I am the voice of the citizens, you know what I'm saying? I'm the voice to the voices. What they can't say, I can. That's what I sit up there and legislate for. That's what I've sworn to do, to protect my citizens when I put my hand on the Bible. And that's what I intend to do until I sit in the seat, or not sit in the seat, or the citizens put me out the seat, because they are the CEOs of the community. Without them, there's no me. I will always fight, but I fight with white gloves though. And with that being said, I said what I said in terms of the water rate being reimbursed back to the citizens. How we can, maneuver this, make it happen before moving forward with, actually passing the, 2025-10 utility bill. I don't want to move forward with doing it until I feel comfortable with knowing that we're gonna do something that's gonna be, justifiable for our citizens. So, and I will be saying whatever motion I put. I don't even think I put a motion out. A second, so I can rescind my second and get back out of it, and then go back into what I previously wanted to do in terms of water rate and reimbursement.
2 questions. Former Mayor Cole had a question about ordinance. What ordinance are we under? That's a good question as well. but also what do you recommend? Because Ms. Johnson made valid points. And I'm also in favor of that. Do you want to do the study first and then come with the water rates, or how do you want to do the establishment? You got to pay back.
Well,
And another one is real quick. We have to get whatever rates we're going to do. We got to get this in place. Is it a deadline tonight? Is it some state or statute that we have to put this in place tonight?
so, two things, thank you. It's all right, Mayor, for speaking. Mayor, Council, two things, the request that's being talked about is separate from what's happening here. So if the council is deciding to rescind that and make a motion that we can review that, is my recommendation. As I'm doing, I spoke with several residents today regarding that, and I am, we have a county council, or a council commissioners, and I'm working with the county. And so, as a local municipalities, there are sometimes you reach out to the next step above, which is Orange County. And I'm working now with Ms. Fire Brooks. I had a conversation this afternoon with them to speak with his attorneys about the process in which we went, and to verify, to get their legal opinion from their staff on was our route correct, or should there be some modifications to it. The other part to making a decision tonight to refund without having all the information, I wouldn't suggest that. If that's something that the council directs the staff to review and study and bring it back before with the information comes from the county, I would move forward with that. But to just do refund without looking at the full detail of it and doing the analysis that we're speaking of, I think it's not in the best interest of the time.
I think the analysis has already been formatted, if you ask me personally, because they've been charged. And you gotta think about it this way. And I don't, like I said, I don't wanna never undermine you.
It was answering the question.
But I don't never wanna undermine, what you do, especially as a CEO. As a CEO, you know what I'm saying? I respect everybody's position and personalities and places in life, especially when dealing with town business. So I never, wanna ever make you feel uncomfortable in that situation. But just me. I can't speak for everybody else. That's your opinion, just like it's mine. My opinion is to, and I know you want to do a study on it, but, listen, we're putting the cart before the horse because we've already dropped the ball, and we want to pass something that we already dropped the ball on before even moving forward with making sure that everything is lined up in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to keep going down this path because I don't want to open up to my mannerism changing the way it did on last meeting. So I'm trying to be as, calm about this situation as possible. Like I said, it's not about me. It's about the people that I serve. And like I tell you guys all the time, I work for the people. I don't work for anybody else here. I work for the people. We work for us. So my expectations are high when it comes to, especially when you sitting in that capacity that you're sitting in. The chief administration officer is a very strategic job. And I feel at times you do a good job at it, but at times I feel like, we can do a better job, you know what I'm saying? Just as a whole, you know what I'm saying? Just on the administrative side. And I'm not sitting here bashing anybody because I'm not and tuned to do things like that. But I just want to make it known though, as a council member, that there's always room for improvement for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Even myself. But I'm gonna always tell the people to hold me accountable, no matter what. I gotta be held accountable for everything that I do. And with this particular situation with the utility rates that you guys are trying to push forward before even trying to get into clarity on what it is that we need to fix necessarily before pushing forward. You know what I'm saying? But you want to disregard with me doing a water rate and the return and reimbursement for the citizens. So you want to do a study on that, but you want to push this through and improve it tonight. I'm trying to wrap my head all around this whole situation. Really.
1 minute.
Oh, Ben, will you finish?
I just want, he didn't answer the question, what ordinance?
I'm saying, as far as ordinance 24-10.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Okay. Let me say this here. This thing just started on this administration. Ms. Katrina, what was the audit for the years that we had to do a water rate study? Every year on the
You should
audit.
come to the podium if you're gonna speak to her.
Yeah, yes, you can. Yes, because this here just started with us right here, guys. This was supposed to have been done several years ago. What was our audit failure for water rates?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents, and visitors. What he's referring to for the last 20 years, the town has been getting a finding in the audit report because of our water rates. So the water rates, in order for us to get grants, debt service, it has been put in there where that we need to increase our rates, bring the revenue in. And the only reason you're increasing the revenue is you have to fix roads, you have to pay for staff. So what happened with this water rate study, the town had not done a water rate study for a long time. They took all the revenues that where we should be to be able to pay for our expenditures. So it's nothing. So what we asking tonight is pass the resolution saying that it has 1,000. We can go back and do what Council Mike says. The more you do not pass the ordinance or resolution tonight, you add another month. So the more you keep adding another month, the more we do have to do a refund, that's more money. So it's two parts to it. So the resolution need to be passed to say that we can charge out per 1,000. After that, we do the study to say, how much do we owe if y'all decide to go that way? But to answer your question, if you need to see the audit to see it in there, and it's up full right now because of what's going on and stuff. So if you need to see the audit reports, it states in there that the town has not been increasing their utility rates.
Thank you. And that's why we're here, right? Yeah, I'm not for or against the rebate. I think we look at when we started charging it December 3rd, 2025, 24, I think it is, what the rate was at that time when we started charging this new rate. Let's find a solution. Let's not start keeping the problem. That's my main goal is let's find a solution. No, not just trying to get a solution. We know what the problem is. Let's find a solution. And the solution would be that what you said, we can go back on the numbers and not refund, but credit their accounts. So they'll be able to be less and less every month until we meet that number. So I'm not for getting it back, but I am for crediting their accounts if that's the issue, be fine. But what was the water rate before? Was it per gallons before or was it 1,000 before this? What was our water rate? So it was per 1,000 before we did this ordinance or resolution.
Yes.
So what's the change? See, that's my thing is, if we were charging per 1,000 before we did this here.
That was verbally.
No,
It's a difference.
Wait, well,
I'm just saying.
go ahead and finish.
Understand what you're saying now, if you're gonna speak on it.
No, I
It
just
was
want to.
verbally said.
What
Councilwoman
the administration with the office was charging the citizens before we set this rate. And when we got the new meters in. We know when we got new meters, the rates, so people gonna pay more water because you get more water calculated. So we knew that your bill was gonna go up. We told them that your bill gonna go up when we put these new meters in. Because they're gonna count every drop, tinkle, whatever. So I want to know, was we charging this per 1,000, per gallon, whatever it was, before we did this resolution?
Yes.
What was it?
For now.
So what's the issue that
Let me
if we
back.
go back to the past without this here?
It was,
It
okay,
go-
I'm sorry to cut you
Go ahead.
off. Before it was 0 to 3,000 per gallon. With this rent, it went back to 1,000 gallon. So it always been per gallon.
Per gallon or per gallon?
But you just said that on record, so that's what I'm saying.
No,
Something was verbally said, but it was different on the documents. That's,
You meant to say per 1,000, you said per.
Okay.
yeah, we understand
All
that.
right, I need to go to Councilwoman Randolph.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, yes, this issue has been very, complicated. Because there've been, so many subsequent, resolutions. However, after listening to Councilman, Mack concerning, his concerns, I do concur that, we need to do the right thing. And if we made a mistake, just say that we made a mistake and we're going to fix it. Okay, and that's the bottom line, is fixing this. Okay, now, since December the 3rd, and I have it here in my notes, from December the 3rd up to some point that this needs to be, enacted. Whereas if there's a refund period, we need to establish the period from the beginning up to now. And that should be the rebate or refund on everyone's bill as a credit. And then from that point, we need to start from this point on as to what the rate is, what it would be. Unless it's at the present rate that we pass, or will it stay at the old rate up to some point? But we do need to get past this process, and I do concur that we need to move forward on this. And I will support the motion when that comes back. And we need to do the right thing. But I did have a question also on the rate schedule. I see there's a tax on your bill, a utility tax. I had a concern about that because it's not listed here, so it's not listed on the rate sheet, but we're charging utility tax. I'd like to know exactly where the utility tax is derived from and where those funds, why we've been charging utility tax. What the reason for the utility tax?
If you allow me, in the morning, I give you a copy of that ordinance. We have an ordinance that we passed to charge utility tax.
Okay, but it's not inclusive, Mr. Presley, on the utility rate sheet or tax.
It won't be on there.
It wouldn't be on
My
here.
tax gonna be different than my tax.
It
It's
won't
not
be.
gonna be the same tax number. I mean, costs.
This is right, so it won't be on there, but we do have an ordinance where that we can charge utility tax. I give you a copy of the ordinance.
Okay, what's that percentage? Is everyone utility tax is different based upon how much they
Everybody's
use?
the same. It's the same.
It'll be the same tax. Yeah, still.
Percentage of your fee.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Then,
No, I was just, getting the, information needed for the ordinance, and once again, are we hindered from passing this tonight, because we are in favor, let me just say myself, in favor of refund from whatever their mistake was made. Hindering that, do we stop the bleeding now or the?
It's my recommendation that we move forward with this particular resolution.
Yeah.
And have that passed. While it is the pleasure of the council to review and make a motion for a study to determine if there is a rebate or credit that is due, I can proceed forward with staff, and I've already started the process to look into.
Right. Question for, Ms. Johnson. Is that, okay,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
to make sure the citizens are in agreement with what we're doing of this, since they tell us what they're doing.
So for clarity, there was a motion made by Councilman Mack rescinded his second.
For clarification. The motion was moved by Washington.
I'm sorry, by Washington,
It
sorry.
was seconded by Mac, but since that motion, he has rescinded.
His
So
second.
we have a second that's open, or you can rescind your move.
I'll
No, we need to pass this.
send second, I seconded. And this is for the clarification of the rate, not a correction. No numbers change.
Yes, this motion would be for approval of the amended resolution 2025-10, utility rate clarification.
You've heard, it's been moved and second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Right? Resolution 2025-10, utility rate clarification has been approved.
Matt, we'll put motion in for, do we do that?
Yeah, I wanna, I mean, Mayor, I wanna put a motion on the floor to move forward with reimbursing every resident that was overcharged during the time that we, gave the water rate, I think it was December 3rd.
The rates didn't actually start until January. The new rates.
So tell me, give me the exact date.
Well, that was the importance of doing the study to bring that back to council. I can move forward with the
Yeah,
motion,
we're gonna move forward with it.
but here's what I want to say, to that. You're making a motion to do it regardless of what the information provides, or are you making a motion based off pending information from the county?
Whatever we're legally do.
Legal, I don't, maybe it's a guy that's over. Just on the, please have. Just based off of the motion.
Yeah, what is the motion?
What the status of the motion is.
So is the intent to order the town to refund? I mean,
Yes, refund credit.
I think it would need to be contingent on finding a specific amount for resident, or if there needs to be some sort of stipulation, because it would be too big.
So a motion to credit the water rates from the period approved from January till tonight. Because of that, contingency upon the findings from the study from the county that I have to put it in writing, but I'm trying to find out from the council. You tell me, are you wanting to do this regardless of what the findings come back? Or
Well, if I may say this, and I gotta say this, I just overheard the ex-mayor Cole speak on having to reward almost $300,000. I don't think it'll exceed that amount, if you ask me personally, from January to now. But if it does, I think that's something that we have to bite it.
I'm okay with what you're saying.
Clarification on the 209,000. Because we are talking about 209 or 9, Ms. Gibson, would you?
209.
209.
200.
209.
Ms. Gibson, would you, if you can answer this question, if not, you can get back with me. And the question is, what was the 209 specifically for? Do you remember?
Rebate. Back then.
Specifically, what was the rebate for? If you don't remember specifically, you can get back.
It was charged on garbage.
That's what I thought. It wasn't on,
Water, no, it was garbage.
and it wasn't about an asterisk not being on the document. Or per thousand.
The garbage was being taxed with the utility tax issue, like,
Right.
so it was being
We're
charged.
talking about two different things.
No, but you gotta think of it this way, man.
Thanks.
Think about it this way, man. It's almost in a sense, falsification, in a sense, if you look at it that way. That's the way I'm looking at it because of the asterisk that was associated with, was supposed to been there from the beginning, but we came back and made the corrections to make it right.
We've made corrections on other.
We understand that, but you gotta think that the people on the outside are not, interpreting the same way we are. So they got a different feel on what we're getting, especially when you got and the only reason we found it is because it was a public record request. Now, just imagine if we would have continued going along with passing this resolution, this ordinance, because the ordinance is the law. So
The rate sheet in 2008 didn't have an asterisk, and that was up to 3,000.
So
Or
what-
3,000.
Well,
That didn't have an asterisk.
so which one are we on? What are the guidelines we on? Are we on a 97? Or one of the one?
But my point is, an asterisk right now is political.
That's your opinion.
But I'm speaking, so let me speak.
I was
Let
just
me go ahead and
speaking
speak. Go ahead and finish this.
What I'm saying though, you
Go
said I'm
ahead and
speaking.
finish.
When I'm speaking also, then you tell me you speak,
Go ahead and finish.
right? I'm trying to be fair about it and I respect you, but I'm trying to get my point across, Mayor. I am. And I know we got legal here and she's almost like, stunned on what to say.
I think
She's legal.
I think she's trying to make sure the wording is proper for what you're requesting. I don't think it's a matter of not knowing what to say. It's making sure that when we come back, when we workshop it, we're saying a motion to credit contingency based off of the findings of whether the documents that were presented were sufficient enough, because that's what we're questioning, what the ordinance that we've established is sufficient.
Please. If
Yeah.
you've got to stop with the conversation, or I'm going to ask you to leave. We're hearing it way up here, and that's disrespect. So please. Thank you.
So we're trying to make sure we get the wording right. So when we bring it back, we're stating that the findings that were, and my suggestion, this is my recommendation, as I've stated, and I spoke to a few residents, that I'm speaking with the county to review this process in which we did, to confirm whether the findings was it correct? Would they have followed the same process? Should something be done differently? And that information from that findings, if they come back and say, well, yes, you should have done this, that so differently, that puts us at the state where we have to come back with that portion. But we're saying from the period of when the new rates were actually administered, that while we approved in December, the first starting of the rates happened, was it January? No, I'm not talking about the billing. When did we start actually assessing the consumption of the actual new rate? February. Please come to the lecture. So if it started in February, the first bill that was associated with the new rates to the residents was when? Was that March? It was March, and then they have 30 days to pay that bill. So that's the kind of study that has to take place, because even though we may be saying it's a period from when it was approved, when was it actually started to be actually given to the resident? You see, that's the study part that we need to do. And if that's one section of it, if it is the pleasure of the council with the motion to proceed with the contingency, the next steps, here's the steps. I got to come back with the findings, bring it in a workshop, and then there has to be another motion to say, based off these findings, if whichever that is, now we recommend, or we make a motion to now credit, or we find the findings state that there is no credit there. All I'm saying is to do a credit without doing the contingency based off the information. We could just be given it just to say we did it from a political standpoint. And I'm not advertising or advocating for one way or the other. I'm just trying to make sure the direction I have for staff is very clear.
Okay, my reason for saying that is because I already felt that way anyway, but it especially made me sad because you said you had a conversation with Byron Brooks based on this particular item. You said you spoke with him in regards to what his opinion was.
I didn't get his opinion. No, I said I asked for him to allow me to submit a document to get his counsel, the general counsel opinion on the path.
So you never got that?
No, that was something that was discussed today as a potential quote unquote second opinion from what our general counsel did.
So did you have an opportunity to speak with him in regards to this particular matter, being that he's a win Orange County?
Oh, yes.
Just in reference to it.
I'm going to be
what do you think about this?
That's what I'm
Did you
saying.
have a conversation with him like, hey, what do you think about it?
I did, and that's what I'm saying. He said, well, normally I give that to my general counsel and they give me.
So he didn't give you an answer?
Yeah.
He didn't give you
He didn't give me an answer because he didn't. I had given him paper. This conversation. So I had recommended that I submit a document to him, allow him to review the process from November 5th. It's when the first workshop took place.
Okay.
When we started to review this, what was stated, allow him to review that to where we are now and give his administrative opinion, as well as have his general counsel see on, whether they've done something different.
Well, in good faith, I'm gonna trust you.
You have it on the record, so.
Right? I'm gonna trust you. Of course, everything's on record, right? I'm gonna trust you, being that you say you've already spoken with Byron Brooks, who is the city manager over there in Orange County. He does a terrific job at everything he does. And I know he's been in the government for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna trust your instincts to tell us, this panel, especially me, I can't speak for everybody else, me, that you're gonna go and do your study. And as far as I'm concerned, we don't have to wait till our next council meeting. We can have a special meeting. That's the glorious thing I love about being a commissioner. I can call for a special meeting and get this done ASAP instead of letting the people wait, if that is the case, right? So let's go ahead and do this. How soon could you do this in terms of making a study or doing whatever you need to do to get in touch with Orange County to make sure that they're moving forward with doing the study on this particular item?
while we can move forward. Of course, I can't speak for what their turnaround schedule is, but I am working on that. I'm actually working on documents tonight that will be submitted and drafted to him in the morning. And he'll respond back to me on basically, hey, what's their time frame? I'm not saying it may take long, I just don't know what's on their plate that, now we're adding to it. But if he give it back, if he gives me a statement back and saying, hey, I can have this back in a couple of days, that gives me enough time to make sure it's on the agenda for the next meeting.
I understand that, but that's gonna give me the indication that
And I will call
it
you.
take forever.
No,
That's how I'm looking at it.
I understand that. That's why I
There's
said,
no time frame, right? There's no time frame in a lot of things, but
if he doesn't give me a time frame, I will definitely call council and say what course of action we need to look at besides that. But that was my first instinct, just to find the rest of it.
So we can't, okay, like, I'm not a mathematician, but I think being that we got a, finance director over here, we should be able to do the math within ourselves.
We'll be working on that in
I'm talking about just to come up with some kind of idea what the number gonna be.
Absolutely, that's what we'll be working on. I'm saying.
And is that something that you can do now before this council meeting is over with? I'm talking about like just.
All right, Councilman.
We'll be there like for what?
Miss Gibson, we're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it.
I'm just gonna say it can't be turned around that quick and.
I'm just asking a question. Asking a question. And listen, I don't want to lose faith in this administration because I'm kind of like, I'm leaning, you know what I'm saying? And like I said before, this is something that is very serious to me. But serious to me may not be serious to you or other individuals, but it's a serious matter to me. That's why I'm speaking on it the way I am, and I'm so passionate about speaking on this particular topic right here because of the matter of how it happened. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. Essentially, that's where the problem lies with me. Is it ain't what you did, it's how it was presented. And I know we've had conversations about this, and I tried to rectify and clearing this up and trying to come up with some kind of clarity on how we can do this without resorting to what we're doing now. Right now, it's up to this board right here on what they want to do. Now, I'm for whatever this board want to do. If they want to, do it the way you want to do it in terms of doing the study, I'm for it. But we want to move forward with putting a motion on the floor to reimburse whatever the amount of dollars is going to be in terms of reimbursement to the citizens. I'm fine with that also. But I want to make sure that we're dotting our I's, crossing our T's, but also doing the right thing for the residents, because you got to think, and you've admitted, and the mayor admitted because it's her administration, that somebody dropped the ball. And we want to make sure that we're clearing it up at the end of the day.
Councilman Daniels.
Just to be clear, you're saying that Orange County is just gonna look into this situation to see if we could possibly be refunded or that you did everything right. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
And our finance department is gonna see how much if we were wrong, how much we did.
They're gonna start reviewing and getting the information together based off of when the new rates were implemented, what that is. So say, for instance, if in this case, for clarity for the community, if it is that the information that was presented based off what their review comes back says that only states that you can only charge them for that $15, what's the base water rate? 15, you can only charge them for that base rate without it wasn't a clarification or understanding that it was per 1,000 gallons. If they come back and say it, then we've got to go back and subtract what that difference is for that portion throughout that, then come back and say, here's the percentage per account. And then we got to say, based off that, here's the full amount. Here's our recommendation for a credit over X amount of months. That's what we have to do internally. The request that I'm saying is for the contingency is based off of the county's review of our practice and how we did this. Does it meet the municipal standard? And I think what I'm saying is if they come back and say, oh, the town did it as they would have done it, then there's no rebate needed. If they come back and say that, yes, maybe this should have been done differently, then that's why I say contingency upon that. That was my, so you asked my recommendation.
And so that's what I'm giving to the board now, because I'm gonna go on the record and say that they're gonna find that you didn't do anything wrong.
That's not necessary.
That's my opinion. Yeah, that's mine too. That's why I want to push forward with this.
That's why
No
those.
motion on the floor. And like I said.
But that doesn't, and just for the record, that does not. The route you're taking has no checks and balances on it. The route I'm asking to look at creates those checks and balances. And so when we talk about, doing what's in the best interest, if the findings were that it was not any problems, why are we doing a rebate? And I want to reiterate, again, these documents that you approved were sent up to state that approved $34 million in grants based off of the approval that we have created a new rate structure. Again, if there's an error and from the angle in which we did it, I stand right here and that's on me. That's my administration. It's under my staff and we didn't get it right. I'm here to correct it. But at the same time, if they come back and yield that it's not, the same thing is fair. So it's just like if it's an omission on it, it should be the same respect to say, well, you know what, you wasn't wrong, move forward. I'm not against it.
I got another question. I got a few questions, but I'm going to go ahead and ask this. Attorney, did you have an opportunity to review the documents that was provided from the ordinance that was approved in terms of the water rate? Have you had an opportunity to review that?
Yes, I haven't reviewed it since December, but I have it up. I can pull it up.
For clarity, she was the attorney working on that. You haven't given me a reference that she was the attorney working under Attorney Shepherd to write that ordinance.
But she's still under the same leadership though, right? There's no difference, is it? Like they're one really, right? It's one. So did you have an opportunity to review it? Now, what's your opinion on that when you look at this document?
In what context?
In terms of the asterisk that was not associated with the per 1,000 gallon on this particular document that was provided and passed through an ordinance, the one that was actually passed. Now, do you have that document?
Yes, sir. I put it in front of you.
Okay.
Now, you're asking about the resolution, because the resolution had the utility stuff. That ordinance. That's what gets confused.
Right, but the ordinance is law. That's the one that we approved.
Right. So the ordinance, based on my memory, I don't have it in front of me, but the ordinance was repealing the previous ordinances and allowing the council to set utility rates by resolution.
Right.
And then the resolution, which was compatible with the ordinance, then set the utility rates.
Right, and I think that's where the mishap came in right there because it was misconstrued that it was a certain rate, but it really wasn't because of the asterisk that was associated with that correction. Now, am I correct or am I not correct? I'm trying to.
I get it. The resolution that was submitted had all the same information. It did not have the asterisk for the interpretation purpose from a written standpoint. But from the actual presenting standpoint, this is just my stance on it.
In terms of verbally being said, right?
It was verbally stated with that interpretation. The document did not have that asterisk on it. So that's why we had the clarification which you all just proved.
So that just tells me right there, anybody looking in the blind eye, that's problematic. That's just like me writing $1,000 check, $1 million check, but I really supposed to write $1,000 check. And I'm giving it to you. If I give it to you, I can't get it back because that's the $1 million. But I really meant to write you $1,000 check. And I'm like, man, I don't drop the ball. Big ball drop, right? It's the same thing, same misinterpretation because the people are being misinterpreted on what the water rate is because it's showing actually. You know what I'm saying? The actions are here because the water bill has really hiked up for something that we didn't approve necessarily. We approved it, but we approved it on the basis of something being verbally instead of on documents. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the problem come in there, right there.
Councilwoman Grant.
Yes, thank you very much. I'd like to ask a question. Do we have a motion on the floor?
No.
Okay,
we're trying to establish what that motion should say.
we can be here all night, this one issue. And I would like to put a motion on the floor to table this.
It's nothing that,
But there's no,
everybody's just discussing.
So we're just getting discussion.
So you want to
Okay,
stop
I'll
talking?
come back. I'll come back.
Yes. I would motion that, but Councilman, oh. go ahead.
Mayor, did the council ever adopt any of the findings or suggestions from the Florida Rural Water Association? Was that ever, I know that it was presented, it was workshopped, but did you adopt formally?
yes.
So,
Miss, do you remember, did you come to the? I can't
I want to make sure I understand what you're asking.
The,
did the Rural Water Association, they,
the management
yeah,
document.
so they did a study or some sort of assessment, and that's how they came up with these proposed utility rates, correct? And so I know that it was presented at a workshop, but I didn't know, excuse me, what I'm asking is, did the council adopt their study suggestions, findings?
I think it was just presented.
But did we do it with well, we would have to, let's just make certain before anything is stated. Because I can't say it specifically, and I don't know if it was in the original. Application. So let's just wait. If I can.
That's definitely been a workshop, make sure we find it.
Right, because if I don't know, I'm just asking whether there's any indication whether it was per 1,000 gallons in that document that you formally adopted. Is that what shed light on it?
And I was just looking at the most recent one, and I probably didn't get to that section.
Okay.
Council, Daniels.
Can we have the attorney just to get the motion on the floor, wording for Councilman Matt, so that we could move on with saying the study's done, not contingent on Orange County, but taking into consideration their ruling on this particular matter, so that we can move on in a form of a motion. I think that's what we're trying to.
So that's what you want to do.
If you word it for Councilman Mack, make a motion that we approve this. That's what I'm saying, is the rate study inquiry to refund our citizens, not contingent on what the results of Orange County may have after their investigation.
So it's not.
I mean, we can do it either we can, the one before would say, if they come up with it and say that we didn't do it, if I did wrongdoings, then we're out of the clear.
So then if I hear you correctly, you're saying, and I was working on this when we were talking, a motion to issue a credit related to the effect of the utility customers contingent upon the favorable recommendation from the Orange County General Counsel regarding the legal procedures for the ordinance and resolution that was adopted.
So the favorable or not, is that wording?
Can we not just bring it all back with the findings?
Yes. You can.
Wouldn't it just make sense? Let's get the information,
That's what
see if something was,
That's what I was
could
working.
have been done better. Let's discuss it and then come up with a motion at the same
Oh,
time.
they just do the study, right? Do the study, come back with a hopefully that it works out in our favor.
Absolutely. I'll bring the findings, and based on the findings, you all can decide if you want to make a motion to approve it or to proceed.
Right, I hope it doesn't take that long to do it. So I would like to put a motion on the floor, in hopes that we can do the study over at Orange County. And if
I thought we were saying we didn't need a motion.
Okay,
We're just going to proceed forward with the information being studied and brought back in the next meeting.
All right.
Madam Chair, Mayor, just for the record, we're not putting the motion.
There's no motion.
The motion has
so
been.
I know it's motion on the floor. If I did,
Follow-up
I'll
inquiry.
rescind it. Yeah.
All right, so there are no other council decisions. Mr. Bessie, do you have?
It's just some things we have been working, thanks to all of the partners working on the Juneteenth event, as well as working with the CRA and their event this past weekend. We are currently pursuing additional funding for water and sewer infrastructure from the Milton dollars. I think Ms. Valerie brought this up in the last meeting, so we're actually preparing the documents for submittal. What is that date? When is submittals due for the Milton dollars? I just want to make sure the council is aware that we are pursuing after that. For the Milton dollars for the additional.
I turned it in last night.
So it was last night. I was just trying to make sure.
So 48 grand.
So we're doing an additional study or additional request for that. That is coming. Also, we had the meeting with the community charrette, or we had the meeting for the community charrette for the policing facility that's being put over there, and that date is set for July 8th at 5:30 here in Chambers. So we'll be sending out those correspondence to support that information for that event. The pool operation has been up and running since I think since June 9th. I had a meeting with recreation and there's several other projects. And so I'll be having them to bring back some of the other programs that are working throughout the summer. At the last meeting, the question came about sidewalks, and did follow up with the county on what their status was. And we do have some funding with the MPO, but I am looking on solutions with Public Works to address temporary sidewalks in that process, which I've shared through emails on the information. Regarding the septic tank, I'll reach out to Ms. Mills to confirm where that is. I don't know where council or CRA left off with that, but I know that was a question, but I just want to make sure if there's something we need to address out there. I just don't know what was the last standing request, because she mentioned if the property was his, that something was happening, and I don't have any information, just for the record, that was approved by this board or the CRA to proceed forward at this time. But I will recirculate and make sure we follow back up.
I remember being on the CRA.
I thought it was, yeah, so I'll definitely confirm that angle. Regarding the irrigation, we do not have reclamation water that requires an actual system being installed. So we only have the potable water that's available within the town. So even if we do a regular meter or an irrigation meter pulling from the same source, the only reason why we separated is because of the actual associated costs that come with sewer and garbage that's attached to a regular established meter. So just want to make sure that's clear, that we don't have reclamation. We only have potable water to pull sources, whether it's for home usage or for irrigation usage in that matter. And I've already spoken with Mr. Graham, and we'll be following back up with him on some of his comments. Just want to be clear to the comments that came in. With that, I believe that's all I have for tonight. Ms. King.
Excuse me, Mayor, before we go any further, I have a concern. We just made a council's decision without a vote.
Did council decision?
Maybe say a council's decision? But what is Mr. Presley is going to do? Wasn't it a
Bringing
decision?
back the information so that we can decide if we need to formulate a motion regarding correctness or not. He's getting information.
Okay, but since we moved that item to a council's decision.
You
didn't move.
approved that. You approved the item that was on the agenda.
No.
The
That's
motion
not
was
what-
never
that's not
on
what I'm- That's what I'm talking, from the consent agenda. We
Correct.
moved that item to a council's decision.
And then Councilman Mack started in that way. I want to make a motion. Mr. Presley started with his input, and then we decided that we wouldn't go into a full motion. And Councilman Mack, correct me if I'm not mistaken, said, and if I did make a motion, I rescind it. If that even wrapped it all up.
He even said, sure.
Right, he even said, and if I did make a motion, I rescinded it. But that was so that we can just give the information back so it could be more intelligible.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
I
Just want to make sure the process. we're following
Oh, you're
is
asking
correct.
for procedure. I thought you were
Yeah.
asking. That's fine.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
He's doing, Demetrius is, Mr. President, excuse me, is doing what he, was already. In a sense. And so he's just informing you guys that, you would have to continue this. Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Ms. King, do you have any?
Yes, I just want to remind all elected officials, appointed officials, staff who fall up under the Commissions of Ethics, that today, July 1st, was the deadline to submit your 2024 Form 1 Statement of Financial Interest. And you still have time to submit it before there is a fee assessed after September the 2nd. There will be a $25 fee each day, a maximum penalty of $1,500.
No, but say, do you have copies of that form in case they need?
It has to be filed. It has to be filed electronically. I do have a copy of the email that can help you with instructions on how to fill that out electronically. But just doing my due diligence to keep you all reminded.
Email.
I did send this out by email. And I do have copies to put in your hand of the email. You also received a mailing from the Commissions of Ethics.
But you will be able to, notify if anybody's completed it, correct? No.
The Commission of Ethics is the gatekeeper for that.
So I completed mine, so I just wanted to make sure that that's all cleared up.
And if you just want to have it on the record to, if once you get your confirmation email from the Commissions of Ethics, you can send it to me as the clerk and I'll make sure it's in the records. And then in addition, there has been some questions about the upcoming election in 2026. Just wanted to let you know, based on our new charter, the language has changed. The first day of qualifying shall be anytime after noon of the 50th day prior to the general town election, but no later than noon of the 46th day prior to the day of the general election. I will translate that to calendar form, but read the charter. It'll let you know when the qualifying period is.
Thank you.
That would be.
Attorney, do you have any?
I do not, Mr.
All right. Vice Mayor, would you like to start?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, we definitely not perfect. I mean, human being is perfect. I think we made some errors. Scope to coordinate errors. I think we had one citizen say she had a meeting last meeting. She said my house can have a meeting after she got a water bill and find out she needs 2 meetings now. So, I mean, it's just that when we get up here and we say things and we tour the audience and people that's watching us, that, just make sure, and I'll show you an apology for coming up doing that, but that didn't happen. But we definitely need to be like, we're not perfect. We're not perfect. So that's all I have tonight. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm glad that you mentioned the meters. I don't know whether or not, most of our residents are aware of the separate meter. Because a lot of people are still complaining about their bills, but they're using their regular water for their yards. So maybe we can send something out as an awareness to everyone in the next, water bill mailing to make sure that they're aware of that particular issue. Okay. Can we do that next meeting, please?
Yes, I'll make sure it goes out in the next cycle, which is on the 18th of this month.
Okay.
18, 19.
Also, I had before requested a explanation for work at home policy. So do we have a work at home policy for employees?
There's nothing in the current procedure manual that states that.
Okay, so I believe the answer before was that it was an administrative decision.
Absolutely.
But even though it's an administrative decision, we need to implement a work at home policy. And when can that be done, Mr. President?
It's an administrative decision. But we definitely can, talk about this.
Mr. President, I'm asking the question. When can that be done?
When we discuss it,
When you discuss it, when is that gonna be?
you will be, no,
Are you gonna notify me?
Mr.
Mr.
Do
President?
you have anything else? That's right.
Well, I will let you know when I'm finished. I will yield to you when I'm done, please. I'd like to say that the Juneteenth event was a great event and committee did an outstanding job. And so this is the committee, so you are doing a very good job. Very good job. Also, we'd like to announce that the Eatonville senior citizens are having the 4th of July on Saturday. So you don't want to miss this. It's going to be a grand event and the event starts from noon to 6 o'clock p.m. Okay, so make sure you get there early. Because there was a lot of demand for the good food that they had last year. We were able to make it last throughout the end of the event, but we're expecting to get a nice crowd again this year. Also, there will be a breast cancer screening on September the 6th. And it's going to be a grand event to prevent, in order to save lives for those who are facing this kind of illness right now. But we have a big mobile van. It's going to be here with nurses and staff are going to be doing free readings. And I do have some flyers, and look out for the flyer. It should be soon on the website. And hopefully you will be getting those in your next mails. So far, there's a team of local, about 13, 14, 15 people now who volunteer to get others to sign up to get the screenings. So the goal is to get at least 50, but the quota is to get 30 to make sure that we have 30 that's going to be available for screening. We had an incident, I guess it was yesterday, about the water. Mr. President, can you give us an update on the water, please?
Sure. There was on Sunday, there was some lightning that was in the area that impacted our internet system at our water plant. And of course, it impacted the system from relaying the release of water, and which means the pressure went down, which is why the water notice went out, that we had to do a boil water notice. When that internet went down, it impacted the staff's way of communicating. But that has been since corrected and addressed, and we're just waiting on the second day for the notice to come back. If there's anything else you can share.
No, you pretty much said it. What we're doing is, because the internet went out, we're doing multiple shifts, checking the SCADA system that's already at the water plant. But we had been able to read on our computers or on tablets what the status was, but because of the lightning strike, it disabled all of our communication. So until we get everything 100%, we're doing shifts. Even over the holiday weekend, we'll be in there making sure that the water levels are correct. But this was due to a lightning strike.
And we're also looking at surge protection and other measures to make sure.
Right. We've had some measures for surge protection.
I didn't get a full water alert, and I don't know if that was
Notice went out.
implemented.
A notice went out yesterday. When that was that Monday or Tuesday? It was Monday. It was Monday. The notice went out Monday, as well as was placed in a press release as well.
Well, I didn't get one in my neighborhood.
I didn't get one.
Okay, so that's an issue. And also, I did not get, normally I get a robot call, but this time I didn't get one.
Okay, we'll see.
Let me check into it and I will respond. But I'm sure the notice went out.
Because it was low pressure, it's only a 2-day boil water notice. That will be should be resolved by tomorrow.
Okay, but even like right now, should there something be robotic to tell people even up until tomorrow?
That's correct.
That should be in place.
We'll see what happens. All right, thank you. This Monday. Is there anything else?
No, Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
the boil water alert, since it's still into effect for tomorrow, shouldn't something be
So there's several methods that go out.
I mean, like now, if we leave this meeting or whatever.
I
to
will
make sure
confirm.
that everyone is aware of it
I will
by
confirm.
tomorrow.
I will confirm, but I do know that there's one method. We normally do the robocall. As you can see tonight, we've had some issues with the internet here as well, so we're trying to figure that out. That may have prohibited that from happening, but the notice did go out through press release, and the signs are out in the community and on our social media app. So we did all the other ones except for the robocall, the normal phone call.
So when can we implement that robot call?
I'll see about if the system's back up and it can go out, I'll send it out. I'll make sure we can as soon as we can.
I had one last question. Due to the water situation, and I would like to ask this question to you, Mr. Presley. Will this in any way jeopardize a time factor for implementing the water rates with the grant that we have?
At this time, I don't believe there's any hindrance of it. It just, based off what I know right now, is what we submitted to the council, to the state, matches what we're doing. And unless something comes back from the study that says differently, I'm sure we'll have to just to send that back to give them a heads up on it. But I don't, we're not changing the rates back, which means that was what the request was for us to adjust our rates to make sure that we can maintain it. So right now, I don't see it as an issue with the grant.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I do have one more. Can you update the public about the dumpster issue on Clock Street? You shared that with me today?
Yep, I met with the property owner. And of course, as you see, that dumpster enclosure has not been used and will not be used. There are still some zoning issues with the property. So I'm working now with planning to address the zoning and to put it in a different location. And as we're working with zoning, we'll put that in and install that. And then based off whatever the cost estimates for that, I'll get back with the property owner to, if we've charged him to do something over what we're having to do ourselves, we'll work out the reimbursement for that.
Okay, all right, Mayor, I'm almost done. Mayor, I need to address the issue. On many occasions, when I make a speech or I'm talking, you always ask me, am I done? But you don't do that to the other council members. And I'd like to know why. What is the problem with me that you have to make sure that I'm identified by the way that you feel to ask me, am I done? As a council person, that's very disrespectful. So you show disparity by not asking the other council members the same. So I want to be treated in the same manner and with respect.
Are you asking? So I want to say, are you done? But that's why I said it, because you stare at me, that it's no, you're done.
There you are again, and I'm not finished talking. Okay?
I don't know how to,
So,
are you asking me a question?
Mayor, calm down.
Are you asking me a question, Councilwoman?
Can you wait till I'm finished, please?
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So I want to yield to you that I am completely done with my conversation, but I do want to bring it to your attention.
Oh, so I need to address it.
By all means, go right ahead.
Because I do that for the very reason of what happened tonight. When you said, when I'm done, I will yield to you. So how do I know if you're done? You pause when you speak and then you do a quick stare. To me, you look done. So when I start talking, then you'll say, you're over talking me, I'm not done. So now I say, are you done? That's why I say it to you, because it usually only happens between the two of us and sometimes Councilman Matt. So I ask you, are you done? It's so that I don't cut you off. It is not disparate treatment at all. You're so,
you know it.
All right.
Good evening, everybody. I also agree with Councilman Randolph with the water situation. I think that for me, I don't drink water. I have a filtration system, but I buy bottled water. But when you hear you have to boil water, and then you forget sometimes when you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth with that water. And I think that a lot of people didn't get the notice. I don't know what we have to do better. I always think the marquee, robocalls, everything. But if I didn't see it or get it on my phone, I think thanks to Miss Brittany, that I knew I relate to my family. Hey, boil the water, get bottled water, brush your teeth in the morning. Because like I said, you forget. We have to find a better way of getting that information out, because I guarantee there's some people in this community that didn't know that we're under a boil water alert right now. I guarantee it. For the Juneteenth committee. Thank you so much. That's how you do it. That's how you come, utilize the city, and then you give back. You give back. That's all I'm saying. That great job. I couldn't make it. I had 2 events, but I wanted to. But I had 2 events that day that I couldn't make it. But I applaud you. That's how we do it. That's how. And thank you. to Stogie's, with the, Stogie's at Sunset. I see that we moved it from, Town Hall, which I was appreciative of. But I wonder, I said to myself, now they're doing it because you, Councilman Dance, you don't like it there, or they did it to get more space. I'm hoping that they did it just to accommodate Councilman Dance and put it there. Right, but the other side of it said, no, they did it because they need more space. But anyway, I had a friend to call and I told him why I did support it. Then when I drove by going to an event in Tampa, I saw that you moved it over in that spot here, which I've been saying anyway. I called him back and said, hey, bro, get your chair, come out. I support it now because it's not here. Now, let me say this. The money wise, putting that event, we have our discrepancies on that. And as long as our plan says it, there's nothing that I can say or do about it. Do I agree with it? No. But you're having your event, bringing I guess recognition to the town. I just think that we have to give back more. I want my town to benefit from these events, not more from notoriety, but more from monetary as well. And like I said, Juneteenth. Thank you. That's how you do it, ladies, and I appreciate that so much. Maybe we can do the same for Founders Day. Got a couple of calls on Stogie. They said it was a nice event and great job. I also agree. I also agree that we have to find a way to take care of the citizens. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to this, we made a mistake. It's a mistake. We can pay some people's salaries, and we can pay for legal fees. We can do this and that. We can give our residents back where we made a mistake and make up for it and do the right thing. That's my I see we got Councilman will talk about his community cleanup, but thank you guys. Thanks for coming. Let's get the word out. We get these people in, and they get mad at us that we don't go out and walk. But how many of them are coming to council meetings to voice their opinions here? But let us go in there. Oh, you don't ever come to my house, Daniel. Don't come here. No, when have you been to council meeting to tell me how you feel or give me some issues that you have? It's a two-way street here. And I appreciate y'all with how you elected us up here. I appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. I love serving my city, born and raised right here when it was dirt streets. I appreciate it. And I love my city. And I will fight for Eatonville. Have a great night.
Councilman Matt, thank you.
All right, okay, all right then. Evening, everyone. I would like to just thank all the residents, business owners, and everybody else in their respective places for coming out, being engaged in town business. Right at the top of my list, I would just like to give a my condolences to a dear friend of mine. She works for us actually. Her name is Paula Bradshaw. She lost her son 2 weeks ago, and anybody that's lost a child. I've never, endured it, but I can only imagine how you guys feel. My heart go out to anybody that's lost a child, and especially her during this difficult time. So my hearts and prayers are definitely with the Bradshaw family. And also I'll be definitely having my cleanup event. There's something that I normally do in June, but we kind of got delayed, but that's okay. The delayed is not denied, right? So it's going to be a community cleanup event that's going to be taking place on July 19th. It's going to be starting at 8 a.m. and we're going to go to about noon. We're going to provide lunch, which will be provided by Waste Pro. They're going to be helping out doing this project along with the town of Eatonville that always put a hand in helping me out with doing this event. It's a great event. I'm asking for any volunteers that want to get involved to just call at the town hall, come up here. We have a list for you guys to write your name, emails, and your telephone number. That way we can be able to get in touch with you. But we'll be sending the message out on the telephone tree as well, just to make sure that every resident knows what's going on. And I think it's a great event because what it does is it gives you an opportunity to get things out of your home, whether it's inside or outside, furniture, things of that nature. And then if you do have any hazardous goods that you want to toss out, we'll be doing that separately. So that'll be a different pile. So if you guys put it out there, we will dispose of it. So I know back in the day, we normally wouldn't pick stuff like that up, but now we're, more resourceful to do things like that. So we want to make sure that you're getting everything possible that you don't want in your house, out of your house, all around your house. So this is going to give you an opportunity to kind of manicure the community and you're around your house. So there's no excuses for anybody to have anything that's lingering around their house that they don't want. And anybody that's a senior citizen, we're going to be also helping you out. You know what I'm saying? We'll come by, like I always do, because I know all the citizens, that are elderly live at pretty much in this community. We want to make sure that we're getting all our volunteers to help them put their furniture on the curbside. And what I'm asking is everybody to have their furniture or whatever it is that they're throwing out that Friday night, because they're gonna be actually picking up Saturday, and they're gonna do a couple of rounds. And once they do a couple of rounds, they're gonna make sure that everything's put up, and we're gonna have a canister on the east side, and we're gonna have one in Catalina area, like we always do. This is something that goes on annually. So anybody that missed that opportunity to have this stuff tossed out, we will have the trash cans there, and they typically stay there until about maybe Tuesday. I'm figuring that's what it normally is. But anyways, if you have any more questions, reference to the cleanup, please call town hall and we'll be able to reference to you. And also looking forward to the 1887 first farmers market. Is always a great event. It's always the first Saturday in each month. It's put on by Julian Johnson. This young kid does a sensational job, but what he does, just being the founder and just having that idea in his head to do something of this magnitude, it just, really puts a smile on my face to see so many young people doing so many different things that's in a positive mindset in this community also. So those are the future leaders. You know what I'm saying? They got to fulfill the needs of us someday. So I want to keep encouraging them to keep doing what they're doing. And then also we're having the Life Circle bike ride. Anybody that's interested in taking this bike ride is put on by Miss Stanley and her husband. It's a sensational ride, guys. I'm telling you, man, it's good for your, it's good for exercise. And I see a lot of people that participated in the last one. And anybody that can tell you, man, it's refreshing. You know what I'm saying? So I encourage anybody that want to go on a nice bike ride, get out here. It's going to be at Axe Realtor right across the street here. And we meet there typically around about 7:30, and we get going around about 8 o'clock, and we typically end around about 10 a.m. We have refreshment. We have like fruits and oranges, bananas, and water, of course. Something that, keep you guys with nutrients in your body and also staying hydrated. So I encourage anybody that want to be involved with the bike ride. And also we have a free bike ride on rental. So if anybody don't have a bicycle, there's no excuse for you guys not to come out there, because what we do is we provide bicycles for you to ride. Well, Miss Stanley don't provide bicycles for you to ride, but you have to actually go on the website. If you I don't have it with me right now, but it's anybody that's friends with me on social media, you're more welcome to go in there and look at the link, and you'll get all the details in terms of being able to get a free rental. And it absolutely costs you nothing to actually do it. Okay. And then speaking of the Stogie event, listen, it was so good the first time we did it again. And this is a hot commodity type thing now, boots on the ground. And when I say we brought people out, man, just imagine what we do when we open the opportunity to, expand with building across the street right here with the Hungerford property, what we can do. We bring the amount of people that we brought in Eatonville just to this event. And this is an outdoor event. You know what I'm saying? So just think about the magnitude that we can really perform with if we bring ourselves to terms to do things that's right for this community. You know what I'm saying? Where we can come out here and have taverns, have things of that nature right there to bring people. We got to bring businesses into the town of Eatonville. That's what we want to encourage people to keep doing. Also, kudos to you, Vice Mayor Washington, for being creative with bringing that idea. Thank you so much. It was a great event, and I definitely look forward to the next one. And Juneteenth, I can't speak enough on how pleased and honored I am to just know these young ladies. I think they do a sensational job with everything they touch. I have an opportunity to sit up here on the board, on the CRA board with one of them, and her mindset and doing what she does on a daily basis, man, is impeccable. So I thank you, ladies, especially with being that rooted 1887, you know what I'm saying, and doing what you guys are doing and just seeing the amount of people that was out there. But not only that, man, you did something that I don't think I've seen Juneteenth or any other event do. You guys gave back. You didn't have to do that. You could have kept that money in your pocket, but that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? You're building that commodity to make sure that, listen, not only you guys are good, but I want to make sure Eatonville is good. You know what I'm saying? This is a business that we're running. We want to make sure that we're corresponding in every manner to make sure that we're doing it properly by dotting our I's and crossing our T's. So thank y'all. Salute to y'all. Kudos and all that good stuff. I'm just about done. Also, just thanks for all the presentations tonight. Mr. Moore, thank you for just coming up here and just, being an advocate of just want to do the right thing in terms of giving us a, idea on the studies with the water conditions, and also thank you for serving also as a Marine. So, salute to you on that manner too. And also, I know we spoke about the community policing Center down in Carolina. Like I said before, guys, and I keep referencing this. You just can't build things because you want to, okay? You gotta have engagement with the residents before you put anything down anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I can't just go and sit here and say, oh, I'm gonna build it down here anyway. You can't do that, okay? It's called engagement, okay? Now, I know this particular grant was on the CRA side, but for whatever reason, it's on the town side, but it doesn't really make a difference because it's all in a local agreement at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? We're all working together. You can't have the CRA without a town, but you can have the town without the CRA. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're corresponding and we're working together collectively and making sure that we're all in this thing together. So let's make sure that we're moving forward and making that engagement with Kelly before we move forward, approving anything. And also the reimbursement, like I spoke about earlier, before we send my motion, I'm dead serious about what I said, but also I do value and respect everybody sitting up here with me in terms of, just making decisions based off of how they feel. I'm always taught to my Lord and Savior before I make any conviction on how I vote. So it's always been dealing near my heart. And this is something that's been going on for some time now. Hopefully we can rectify this sooner than later. And also, I'm super excited because I know we've had several meetings, Mr. President, about this event because it's something that I've been pretty passionate about, and I'm a big advocate of, our kids. Because I got kids that live in this resident, and I also got kids that tend to walk down here on this west side, man. It's a dangerous situation down here, man. So we're gonna be temporarily, hopefully putting temporary sidewalks down there with the help of Orange County, man, sooner than later. And I know we're supposed to be starting a project within the months, I think of October, hopefully. January, which is not soon enough to me. But at the end of the day, I know we've been tackling this project since 2019, and we're here in 2025. So hopefully we can move forward with the help of Orange County. We're helping us facilitate that project also. And I'm just about done, everybody. And then we're going to be having a event. This is going to be the third annual senior event, but it's provided for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Miss Seeley, she does a fantastic job. I can remember her coming to me and wanting to start this particular program that she has. And I was one of the advocates and, champion this for her and made it, come to full fruition for her to be able to do this particular program that she has. And it helps so many seniors. If anybody in here that is a senior, I encourage you to get in touch with her and get involved with what she has going on because there's so many different things that she does. And she come out of her own pocket. She spend her own money. She don't depend on town. You don't see her in here ask for any funds or anything because she make it happen. And I appreciate her. She's watching. Salute to you, Miss Francis C, on everything that you do for our seniors around here. And we got to continue doing everything for our seniors to make sure that we're moving in a positive direction and helping them out as well. And I also heard the concerns of Ms. Mills. Someone that I dearly respect also, and I know she's been having this concern with her son not having the proper sewage and things of that nature right there, properly run to her home. And I'm one of the ones that fought for her. You know what I'm saying? And I will continue to fight for her because it's my job as a legislator and as a lawmaker up here to make sure that I'm doing everything in my might to make sure that my citizens are okay at all times. Not sometimes, at all times. Anything I can do to help, I'm gonna do that. So hopefully we can sit down with her, perhaps, move forward with what we need to do on the administrative side to make this particular thing happen also. And I'm just about done, guys.
You just said.
Miss Fleming, Miss Fleming, and I know we spoke about this numerous of times also, and you did speak on it, so I'll leave it alone. But we definitely need to address that issue. And I ride by it all the time to make sure there's no trash downstairs, which is not. You know what I'm saying? So that makes me feel good, and that kind of gives me a relaxing feeling. Now, this will be the last thing in closing, guys. The pool. To see the kids in swimming now instead of standing behind the gate wishing they was in it. Puts a smile on my face. You know what I'm saying? And I know we take it for granted a lot of times, but we gotta, make sure that we're doing all the things to make sure that our kids are okay. You know what I'm saying? those are the future, that's the future of this community. I can remember being a kid swimming in that very pool and having plenty of lifeguards to make sure that we're okay. And like I stated before, if the amount of money that we spent refurnished in that pool, it should be an issue with getting lifeguards to make sure that we got kids to be safe in it also. And this would be my last thing, and of course, this is to the attorney.
No,
Do we have any lawsuits against the town of Eatonville?
Not that I've been notified of.
Okay, thank you. And that's my, okay, thank you. And that's my report, please.
I'm gonna ask y'all to just give me some mercy, because I know it's late, but I do have some things to say. This water thing is driving me up the wall. And I do say political, and I say what's on my mind. Because tomorrow will take care of itself. The next election will take care of itself. But we have missed out on millions because we have not gone up on that water rate. Even though it was in the ordinances from 2008 that it should be increased each year. Had that water rate been increased each year, this wouldn't be such a huge issue. But everyone else is going up on our rates. When we send our sewage over to Altamont, they're going up on the rates. Everyone's going up on the rates. So to say that it's not political, I can't say that. And I'm going to say it's political. Some of it. Now, I'm okay. I know people are concerned about, paying for groceries on this side, paying for water on this side. I know that, and I don't take that lightly. But a lot of this is. Because if you are going to want a refund from an account that's in the negative by over $1 million, that's negligent, y'all. And I'm sorry it's hitting the pockets. It's hitting my pockets. I need a second meter too. I'm just holding off a little bit, but I have to get that second meter because it is more costly. But that's confusion when people don't know the whole story. No one wants to just go up on a water rate. But that water rate has been held for votes in the past. I'm not that kind of leader. It has to be done now so that future leaders, that you don't have to worry about it. Now we'll be in the black on that water sewer so that you can fix the pipes and it doesn't have to go into the general fund. But let's be for real on this. All the narratives and everything, and it's political because the people that are complaining, they're not complaining about an asterisk. They're complaining about the rate. The rate is not going to change. It's still going to be the same number just per thousand. We knew that. The old rate sheet doesn't have per thousand on it. But that's okay. That's all I'm saying on that. But I have to say that. Tomorrow will take care of itself. The Mayor's Business Development Academy, Ms. Mundy, GCI, LaVonda Wilder with the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. The testimonies are enlightening. And I'm so glad that things are, that we're finally able to tunnel monies from grants and mold it so that our people, and I say our people, I mean our town's people, can have access to it through knowledge, through education. That is important. Mr. President and I, probably have already done it, but the local preference, to make certain that when someone wants to do business in our town and they are a primary bidder, that they're utilizing the talents in our town. That is already started. So that's coming, and that addresses something that was stated earlier. Golf cart permits have started being issued. If you have a golf cart and you have not gotten yours, make sure you do it. Looking forward to the unity, but I'm not going to repeat anything. There is a quick, this is a brochure. When I went to the Tourist Development Council meeting, they showed a brochure, and this is just informational, just an idea, community connection brochure. So in the past, some things have been said. Let's have something to hand out. And this is from the council people, have something to hand out. But this is something that was given in the last meeting, and I love the idea. So I just want to put it before you, and maybe we can kind of tailor-made it, make it for us to do something. So For this brochure, it will be a brochure that'll serve just to introduce you as a council person. It can highlight, you can go to the next, we're just gonna try to fly through it. It's gonna highlight some of the things you've done, a professional headshot, background bio, highlights of initiatives, fun personal facts. And this might be for people visiting or if you go somewhere. And why it matters, personalized professional outreach tool, public awareness of your role, your responsibilities, long-term community engagement asset, and also gonna have a historical piece for the town. What's left, if it is something that interests you, just a design, finalize brochure to pamphlet, and just collect specific information for the brochure. But it can also be a part of the outreach. And then the next slide is what it actually looked like, what we received for this purpose. But definitely, we don't want to copyright their creativity, but we can come up with our own. Doesn't have to be that big. I think those about 8 inches, about this high. And it's like a little trifold brochure. So that's just something for you to think about. And if you notice, it says District 2, but it can easily be C2, and then across that blue band, it would be your name. That's something that you can definitely utilize, just promotional activity. And just to reiterate something you said, Mr. Presley, thank you. That is, you said on July 8th we have a charrette for, yes. I just want to make sure everyone heard that. I almost said boys and girls. Teach mode. Everyone, have a great evening. Drive carefully. Thank you for being patient.
No,
You had something else?
no, I was gonna tell about it. People love coming to Eatonville. I mean, month of June was a good month for Eatonville. I think over 5,000-6,000 people visit Eatonville. So guess what, folks? Eatonville's on the map again. Let's go. Keep everybody happy.
All right, it is 9:47. I move for adjournment. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye, all opposed. All right.
Thank you.